What's up guys, Chris the Greek Weeb here again with another manga chapter review for Eden Zero. Now, I am really liking that people are enjoying my Eden Zero content on the channel, and even though it isn't doing as well as I had hoped, there are still people coming on and actually liking the videos I am doing on Eden Zero. I'm hoping to do more Eden Zero content in the future, but I need your help to not just subscribe to the channel, but also like the video and get it more views, because as much as I am enjoying making these videos, I am honestly not doing so well with the view count on these chapter reviews recently, and despite the anime starting, I honestly hope that you guys can help me out and help expand the channel and share these videos and help with the like goals and everything to show YouTube that people enjoy this content so it can be recommended to more and more people, because Eden Zero is a manga that I've honestly been really enjoying, especially as of late, and this new arc that's starting right now is looking up to be one of its most chaotic and action-packed yet, and that is saying something because the fight against Dragon Joe in that arc was honestly really awesome, and everything that's being set up with this current arc just seems really out there, and I'm excited to actually cover it week by week now that it's officially starting. So please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. That way I know that you guys are enjoying this content so that I can keep doing it. So with all that said and done, last week we had basically the reveal of the Irrational State's Interstellar's Eraser, who is also known as the White Flash, as he begins his assault on Narrow Planet 66 before high tide, and before the All-Link system is activated to shut down all of the machines in the Aoi cosmos. And in this, we actually get to see how twisted Shura is in his mentality, and also we get to see Eraser, who seems so nonchalant and cold, but actually caring about his comrades, and we get to see his ether gear, which seemingly erases anything that he sees, and it is just straight up Thanos snapping at this point. So I think now this definitely is going to have some sort of limitations, because he did have to charge up his ether for a substantial period of time while all his men were getting slaughtered out there from basically 10 times the amount of troops, and Justice and Jaguar from the Irrational State's Interstellar are on their way as well, with the chapter more or less ending with Shiki and the crew along with the rebel army of Oasis heading towards Narrow Planet 66, planning to use Eraser's attack and onslaught to sneak onto the planet. Which is where we start chapter 140, Charge to Narrow Planet 66. We start off with Laguna talking to Ibaraki of the Oasis, and him saying basically that Goodwin, despite him saying that he will work with Eden Zero, but he doesn't like working with allies that have already betrayed the organization, with Ibaraki saying that despite him saying that, Goodwin isn't really upset or hates Laguna after all this. Even Laguna says that he knows, but Ibaraki basically already pointed a gun at him, with Ibaraki saying that even if he wanted to kill him, he'd have shot him already. And I like that we're getting this little bit of information that they actually don't really all that hate Laguna for leaving, and that the boss was just putting up a brave face and tough guy front for the rest of the crew and the rest of the army. And Ibaraki just saying that now that he's back, we can all fight together again. Fight against Narrow, as Laguna says that they never changed, and we get the introductions of a few characters, like a few name drops for these characters in the rebel army. I'm not sure if they're going to be important, but throughout this chapter we see their designs and they look pretty damn cool, so maybe we'll get to see them do something really awesome later down the road. And I like how this is basically more or less a little reunion of old friends now, with all the formalities and brave fronts put off to the side. But then the mood shifts when Laguna mentions that he hasn't seen the princess, as Ibaraki says that she went to rescue a few troops a while back, she got caught, and Shura killed her, and that her face was so mangled that they couldn't even recognize her anymore. And once again, showing how demented and twisted, Shura is as an individual. There is something loose in that head right there. I don't know how that happened, but Shura is just straight up insane. Which is also kind of a really good caveat with the fact that he's also somewhat strategic to a point, because he set up that press conference saying that he's going to shut everything down, based himself on Planet 66, so that he can go and take on Ziggy and take him down, knowing that this is exactly what Ziggy's after. So that's honestly really nice, because you get to see more of how twisted and demented Shura is just by this dialogue alone. Ibaraki then says that they're going to fight to avenge the princess's death and that they're going to take him down. As this call ends, Wise shows up and asks him, a princess in a rebel army, was she some sort of member of a royal family? But they just call her that because she was the previous boss's daughter, and that she basically was the most bright, cheerful, and indomitable person in their group, and that she and Goodwin were the backbones of their organization since the previous boss died. Now, I honestly have a good feeling that we're going to get some sort of flashback with Goodwin showing us who the princess looks like, as well as who the old boss was, because you don't introduce a group like this without having some sort of flashback arc or a chapter or two detailing how this organization came to be and how certain events occurred in the past to help further emphasize the importance of this character in the arc. I honestly see this happening. Wise then, after going through this conversation, states that Nero was basically Laguna's end goal the entire time, asking him that the reason that he joined Draken Joe's crew was to try and convince him to help take down Nero. And now that Draken Joe has been defeated, they latched onto Shiki and his group. Laguna says that it was Witch's idea to come and join the crew, but Wise says that even if she didn't go to him, he would have tried contacting them right away. And then he says that even if they didn't accept him, he would have tried going to Elsie instead. Either way, he once again showing how smart Wise is and how intuitive he is due to the fact that he is honestly a pretty awesome genius, saying that he has been going from group to group so that he can try and find someone to help him take down Nero. And he then brings the obvious question of why not just join the government? Laguna says if I'd had an education, he might have. And I like how Wise just grabs onto Laguna, brings him in close with a threatening and angry look, and says that he better not drag his problems onto them. While Laguna was trying to justify himself, saying that Shiki would have fought this battle anyway with or without him, and that is true, Shiki would have fought this battle without Laguna, though without the help of the rebel army, and just would have just jumped right in there. Wise gets even more serious, saying that if anything happens that gets any of his crew killed in the fight, Wise will just straight up kill Laguna. Now, it is obvious ever since Laguna got onto their ship, Wise has had a major problem with him due to the fact that he was, well, working for Draken Joe. And Wise has never really trusted Laguna. He was letting him, lead them and having, a way with the crew to try and gain his trust. Wise does give people a chance. He was putting his hatred for Joe aside and giving Laguna a chance. But he straight up gets up in his face and says that if he does anything that gets any member of his crew killed, he will pay for what he's done, for getting them all involved in this. I know that Shiki would have definitely done this regardless, and Wise right now is just looking for someone to take out his anger and frustration on, but he is right. Because chances are Laguna would have found a way to get there anyway, but the only reason Shiki is doing this right off the bat is because of Laguna's intervention and how quickly they've gotten to the Aoi Cosmos. We then jump to the Eden Zero kitchen as Rebecca is talking to Couchbo, basically telling her to leave since they're about to go into war at this point. But Couchbo is being like, "Don't worry, what's the point of me joining this crew for the moment if I'm not just gonna stick with you guys till the end?" She then makes a joke about maybe when it comes to protecting this place, I will awaken my dormant powers. And I like that this is a nice little joke that even Rebecca and Happy are like, how is that gonna even make sense? And yeah, this is a nice little wholesome moment between Rebecca and basically her first real VTuber friend who was stuck by her every chance that they've met. And this is honestly something that's really nice and wholesome. I like Rebecca getting a friend that isn't a fighter on the crew, someone that she can just talk B-cubing with and other stuff, and just hang out aside from Homura and the rest of the Shining Stars. But now Hermit straight up says that they're entering the combat zone and they're getting ready for battle stations. We then see that Witch is holding a little conference with everyone, stating that since the Union Army is currently engaged with Shura's forces, they're going to try and sneak around them and head onto the planet's surface. But since there's no clear path to their destination, it's very unlikely that they'll be able to avoid any sort of confrontation, which is where Goodwin comes in. His group is going to do everything they can to be a diversion so that to get the Eden Zero to the planet's surface, primarily because the Eden Zero is very fast and it'll be able to bypass all of the defenses right away if they have the right opening. As this little meeting has concluded, Shiki is staring out into space, seeing the battle in the distance, as he just straight up says, all those lights, are they explosions? Does that mean every single time one of them goes off, someone dies? Stating the obvious, that they could have been friends, but they're killing each other. Shiki does have the whole friendship mentality, something that Ziggy has instilled in him since he was a child, but regardless, this is something that everyone thinks. War is more or less pointless in a way because, as Goodwin said like a few chapters ago, war is just two sides that have no real way of giving up, that they're fighting for what they believe in or fighting for who they need to fight for. They could all be friends after all this, but right now they're killing each other. Homura says that Shiki is a kind man, but as Shiki finishes her sentence, saying that they're not going to stop right now. They're going to go beat Shura and put an end to this war. We also get to see Klein, Jin, and Maskoi as they stare off, saying that the ocean, saying how the high tide is about to go soon, that the high tide is about to be unleashed, and that it's almost time for the All-Link to be activated. Klein then asks if her brother is going to fight with them, as Jin just straight up says that honestly he'd rather not put her in danger, but he just can't let this ship go down. As they share like a nice little funny moment. But then the battle gets started. The Oasis army shoots out their fighters one by one as they begin to plow through all of the defenses that are going after them. And this is some straight up Star Wars type shit, and I like it because this is like 5 fighters, Ibaraki, and the previously named characters. I like that we got to see all the designs. The lizard one, I honestly really like. Lazar, he looks honestly pretty damn cool. So, I really hope that these aren't just straight up one-off characters, and they're gonna just die in the battle or just fight off in space at some point. I hope that they have some sort of powers that they could fight some of Shura's men in the Ocean 6. But then again, the Ocean 6 are probably just gonna be fighting the Eden Zero crew regardless one-on-one. So, I'm excited for that. And I like how despite these guys clearing a path for the Eden Zero, they only have a very small window of opportunity to get in onto the planet because, you know, they're still going to attract a crap ton of attention with all these explosions and all these ships going down. Ships are coming in as the Eden Zero reaches max speed to head onto the planet's surface. They launch their missiles, take out a good chunk of those ships, as now they charge straight down through the clouds into the planet's atmosphere in a panel with the Eden Zero appearing on the planet in a shot panel very reminiscent to how they just charged straight into Dragon Joe's ship in the final portion of the Belial Gorge arc. And I like how they're saying that the ship just broke through all the defenses and that it's Ziggy's ship. But Shura straight up says that it feels different. It's not Ziggy. As we get a final panel of Shiki, super serious, getting ready for battle, as Shura just straight up asks, who is this dark gravity? As the chapter ends. And I have to say, while this wasn't the most action-packed or most influential chapter out there, we got some nice moments with Wise and Laguna, with Laguna's backstory more or less being told to us, but also setting up the possibility for a flashback later down the road for Goodwin and Laguna, and the origin of the Oasis army, as well as showing how much Wise cares for his crew, how much animosity he has towards Laguna, saying that he is going to kill him if anyone in his crew is killed or gravely injured. And we get to see the Eden Zero crew finally make it onto the planet's surface, not dragged out at all, as both the Oasis army and the government is currently engaged with Shura's troops on the outside. So I believe next chapter we will most likely get started with the battle on Planet 66, with the Eden Zero crew battling the members of Shura and his Ocean 6, or Ocean 7. You know, forget it, I'm probably not remembering this right. But anyway, the chapter ends, we're getting ready for the action portion of it, and I like how we're not wasting any time now getting straight onto the planet's surface. They could have like stretched this out for another chapter if you really wanted to do a space battle, but I think they're gonna just save that to go back with how Eraser is handling everything. And as I said, Eraser's power is straight up insane. I want to see what kind of drawback this has on him, because it's just straight up scary how he can basically erase things right off the bat. And I love to see how he uses that in an actual fight. But yeah, all in all, this was a nice, good chapter. We get the real setup for the Eden Zero crew about to face off against Shura and his forces on the surface of the planet. And yeah, I'm still very excited for this arc, and I will be really happy to cover this week by week. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell for updates on future videos. I really hope that you guys enjoy these videos. And with the like button and the subscribe counts, I hope to reach even more people who like Eden Zero and are reading the manga, so that they could get informed on everything that's going on in the manga and hear my personal thoughts on what could happen and what is currently happening. But yeah, with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and with all that, I hope you have an awesome day.